Good morning everybody and welcome back to episode 2 of the guide to Valheim with me, Scruffy Joe. I will be your Viking guide this morning. I just wanted to very quickly, this is a short one, this is going to be like a less than 2 minute one. Following on from the first one where I kind of gave you sort of 18 or 19 minutes of most of the first things you need to worry about. I then left it and said, now go and collect everything and build everything you possibly can. Which is why now we're returning to me having a flint axe, a spear, a bow, and a hoe, which is what I wanted to talk about today. Because I've expanded my base a little bit. It was originally just kind of a 2 wide, and now it is 4 wide. And that was because I was having smoke inhalation problems. So it's 4 wide. It's also slightly longer than it used to be. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7. 2, 3, 4. 6 by 4. And then we've got 45-degree corner pieces, 2 normal 45 degrees. And then on the top, in the big section at the top where there's kind of a 2 wide bit, I've put the 26-degree ones just so that it leaves a nice little space for your smoke to come out. And that means that you can now sleep without dying. But the important point about this was that in order to do this, I had to do something to the ground because I ended up with floating walls due to the terrain. And let me just give you a demonstration of what that looks like so you know what I'm talking about and how to avoid the situation yourself. So this is a wall. You can build a wall, and then if you go up, the wall disappears into the ground, and that's fine. If you go downhill, the wall floats in the sky, and that's okay for the first one. And then for the second one, it's like, okay, we're green. Third one was still kind of going a slightly different colour, right? Can you see that there? Blue, absolutely fine, touching the ground. Green, floating but fine. Yellowy green, not so good. Still yellowy green red. If I attach something to this, it's probably going to break. But because there's now some ground over here, that will be fine. But let's just try and make it break so you can see what I'm talking about. There you go. That just happened on its own. So clearly there is a problem with ground level, and that problem can be fully resolved using a combination of a hoe and a pick. But at this stage in the game, you don't have access to a pickaxe. You only get access to a pickaxe after you've killed the first boss. So this is a very brief how to manage with a hoe. Hoeing 101, if you like. The hoe levels the ground, and it attempts to level the ground to the height that you are currently standing. So if I'm down here and I'm looking uphill, I'm not seeing any circles. And if I press the button where I can see the circles, it kind of gives me a flat piece of ground-ish. And then it kind of goes up a hill. If I stand on a hill and try and hoe, see that big long line? That's kind of showing you how high you are in the centre of that circle compared to where you're standing. And so if I do that, it brings it back up. But it doesn't bring it all back up. And if I wanted to go down a steep hill with a hoe, it wouldn't work. And you'd end up basically just doing that. And you'd still have a hill. And you would end up with a bit where you get this kind of line of height, and that's where you need the pickaxe. But to begin with, you can just kind of go around. If you want to get a bit lower, then try and walk away to a place where you're a bit lower down, like there, so you can't see the rings, and that will bring it down. Go stand up a bit higher, you can kind of bring it back up. And the idea is to try and get it flattish at this point in time so that you can build a slightly bigger house where the majority of the walls are touching the ground. It doesn't have to be all of them, as you can see with that little demo earlier on. Some of them can hang off the ground and they will be fine, but if you are attaching something to a piece of material and it's showing you that it's red in colour, that's going to break. So that's the point where you need to get out your hoe and do some hoeing. Happy hoeing, everyone. If you're enjoying these and finding them helpful, do the things with the buttons that you press, and leave me a comment and I will answer it and do whatever you want me to do. Cheers now.